It's kind of a strange feeling because it seems nowadays that the main time that I hear this gospel, and I hear it fairly regularly, not just on this particular Sunday once every 3 years, but the first part of this gospel from John is one that a lot of families will choose to have read at the funeral, especially of a parent, especially of a mother. The words there at the beginning, they just kind of speak to their sense of their mom. I'm going to prepare a place for you. Yeah, that sounds like mom. That's what mom would be saying to us. And so that part of it, like I say, we hear fairly often at funerals. So it's nice to not have a funeral gathered around us here, to be hearing that gospel. But Philip said, show us the Father. And Jesus said, Philip. It doesn't necessarily say in the gospel passage that he took that tone, but you can just kind of picture, Philip, come on. All this time I've been with you and you still don't get it? What I have been trying to say to you for so long is, if you have seen me, if you have accepted me, you have seen the Father. I can't make it any more clear than that. So, this idea that God is right there, even when we fail to recognize, even when we're expecting God to be a certain way, and yet God surprises us. Christ came among us as an ordinary human being. He came to live a human life. And I know in a way we're talking Christmas here in the Easter season, but still, that great mystery, God with us. It's a message that I think the council tried to bring home. That God isn't just tucked away in a church building and we have to come 1 hour a week. No. Our lives, our day-to-day, sometimes what we call ordinary, maybe even boring activities, that's where God is present. That's where Christ is with us. One of I would say the great spiritual writers of the 20th century, certainly one of my favorites, Father Ed Hayes, one of his quotes is, the great challenge of the saints in the 21st century is to recognize the sacred in the thousands of things of ordinary life. When I was ordained many years ago, I sent out a little card with the invitations, and the quote was, to see God in everything makes life the greatest adventure there is. And that is still our challenge. Each day, the events of each day, whether we are isolated, whether we are fearful, whether we are suffering, whether we are at the end of our our rope in terms of patience. Nevertheless, God is there. The moments in our lives are infused, are filled with God's presence, with holiness, if we can remember to see him as such. So with that, I'd like to share with you, this was written by Irma Bombeck. It's called Sounds of Mother's Day. See, moms, you didn't think I was going to forget about you completely, did you? On Mother's Day, all over the country, grateful moms are pushed back into their pillows. The flower on their bird of paradise plant, which blooms every other year for 15 minutes, is snipped and put in a shot glass. And a strange assortment of food comes out of a kitchen destined to take the sight from a good eye. A mixer whirls out of control, then stops abruptly as a voice cries, "I'm telling!" A dog barks and another voice says, "Get his paws out of there. Mom has to eat that." Minutes pass and finally, "Dad, where's the chili sauce?" And then, "Don't you dare bleed on Mom's breakfast." The rest is a blur of banging doors, running water, rapid footsteps, and a high-pitched, "You started the fire, you put it out." The breakfast is fairly standard. A water tumbler of juice, 5 pieces of black bacon that snap in half when you breathe on them, a mound of eggs that would feed a Marine division, and 4 pieces of cold toast. The kids line up by the bed to watch you eat, and from time to time ask why you're not drinking your Kool-Aid or touching the cantaloupe with black olives on top, spelling Mom. Later in the day, after you have decided it's easier to move to a new house than to clean the kitchen, you return to your bed, where, if you're wise, you'll reflect on this day. For the first time, your children have given instead of received. They have offered you the sincerest form of flattery, trying to emulate what you do for them. And they have presented you with the greatest gift people can give, themselves. There will be other Mother's Days and other gifts that will astound and amaze you, but not one of them will ever measure up to the sound of your children in the kitchen on Mother's Day whispering, "Don't you dare bleed on Mom's breakfast." God is truly present in our lives. To see God in everything makes life the greatest adventure there is. As we continue in hope and in resurrection, let us be grateful.